Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So today we are doing a reaction video to those crazy videos we see online on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever. We are having a little look, and you can tag me on the social media platforms if you see anything suspicious, crazy suspicious. Just before we get into that today, if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Robert. I'm a professional makeup artist here on YouTube, but also in real life. It's my goal to help you become a pro yourself, or just someone who's really good at makeup. And sometimes that means clearing all the BS of social media, looking at what works in real life, and looking at what is just there for entertainment purposes only. So you can use that, and don't waste your money. Don't waste your time when it comes to doing your own makeup. Let's jump into it. Let's have a little look what we have today. Oh, and as I always say in the beginning of my reaction videos, creativity and individuality have no rules, but makeup most definitely has a theory. Okay, am I recording my sound? I am.
If you're lining your lips like this, please seek immediate help. Stop it right now. I'm going to show you how to overline your lips without looking like this. When you're overlining your lips, you leave these lines alone. You want to find the tip of your cupid bow, draw one line, and another. I like more of a rounded cupid bow, so I connect them in the center. Then very lightly, you want to connect this line down there. Don't overline. You should have something like this. If you want to overline, you can always make the cupid bow area a little bit thicker. Then for the bottom lip, you only want to overline this center right here. You only want to focus on overlining the center. Don't overline any of these edges. And you're all done. It's so easy.
Okay, so here's how I think, right? When we present makeup content and we say, do it like this, it should be more like, if you're not a makeup artist, right, and you don't have the experience of doing it on loads of people, and it's your own way of doing it, especially when she goes into, this is how I do it. Say, this is how I overline my lips. To suggest that people need professional help because they overline their lips is a little bit strange. So I'm going to approach it from that way, that she is stating this as fact. Fact is, she doesn't overline her lips once in that demonstration. In fact, if anything, she underlines her bottom lip and doesn't overline her top lip at all. In fact, we just call that lining your lip. That's how you line your lips normally. If you are overlining your lips, and most professional makeup artists will agree with this, you can absolutely overline these outside corners. Don't overline the rounded part of the mouth. Start from within that inside corner of the lip, overline and then meet the top of your cupid's bow to the point, and then join it together. You can also overline your cupid's bow, but it gives you more of that Bratz pout, you know? It's more of that elongated lip, pout. Whereas if you want to overline naturally, even the tiniest amount over these lines is absolutely fine. Don't overline this bottom bit here, because on most people it tucks underneath. It can look a little bit strange. Again, overline very gently these bits here and then go across the whole way. Don't just overline that bottom bit. You're overlining your cupid's bow and overlining this bottom bit, which is something you can do, and not overdoing this. Think about it. It makes almost like a pyramid shape on each part. So you're almost getting that Bratz pout, where the pout is all in the middle here, like your lips are being turned up. Whereas if you want it to be a bit more natural, you overline the outside lips. So you don't need professional help for overlining your lips the way you overline it. You can actually overline your lips however you want. The only thing I would watch out for, and I call it drag queen overlining, is where people overline so high above their natural lip line that when they turn to a side, you can see where the natural lip line stops and where the fake one begins. So do bear in mind that even the tiniest amount of overlining can have a really great impact on overlining your lips. But that video was just lining your lips. I don't get that. Also, when you do your makeup any way you like, I know I do these reaction videos, but like I say, they're for people who have tried stuff online and it hasn't worked for them, and I'm showing by reacting that actually that might not work because of this. It looks great on camera, it works that way. You don't need professional help because you do your makeup a particular way. That's insane.
That is disgusting. You literally marketed an eyeshadow palette to not be intended for the eye area. Huda Beauty settled a class action lawsuit last year for almost $2 million, and this is what it tells me as a brand owner. The claim was against 4 colors in these palettes that are restricted for use around the eye area in USA. Apparently there's a hidden label mentioning this, so let's take a look. At the bottom right, I see a label and icon that says peel here. I wouldn't call it hidden, but I think they did this because of space limitation. And after peeling it, I saw the rest of the ingredients and also saw the disclaimer that said not intended for the eye area. But here's what you didn't know. These colors are very common for blushes and lip products, and it's only restricted for the eye area in USA, but not in Europe. I'll explain why in a second, but chances are you probably use these colors in your eye area from other brands, but you didn't notice the label. Legally, they're allowed to do it because the product is labeled as a pressed pigment, not an eyeshadow. And there are many brands with bright neon colors that do the same thing. What you need to know is that brands use third-party compliance agencies to make sure everything is compliant. So I'm sure this was approved by the agency, and the labeling is likely compliant with the FDA, which explains why the FDA isn't finding Huda Beauty. But that doesn't prevent someone from wanting to sue you, and that's where the class action lawyers come in. As for the safety of these pigments, Europe is known to be more stricter with their compliance. I'm just speculating, but it's likely that there's studies in Europe to show that these pigments aren't harmful for the eye area, and maybe in the US they're not up to date. So to change this in USA, a brand needs to do its own studies and submit an appeal to the FDA, but that costs a lot of time and money. So brands that use these bright colors label them as pressed pigments, add the disclaimer, and nobody gets sued. I'm sure Huda Beauty didn't do this to be deceptive, because this is actually common practice for brands that sell in Europe and USA. The dispute was with just the inner label, even though the FDA doesn't appear to have an issue with it. So the lesson for a brand owner is to make sure that your disclaimers are clearly visible on the primary label. A class action lawsuit like this is just bad press because consumers panic since they don't have full exposure to the details unless they watch a video like this.
100%. I've seen this a few times. Somebody did it with a Kylie palette and their reactions are so over the top. It's disgusting you've done this. Calm the fuck down. It is not disgusting. It is not insane. I'll never use this brand again. It is not that bad. It's not that deep. It's just in case. And it's only in the US. Here in the UK, we get it with some pigments, but it's in things like deep reds and things like that. Well, not so much anymore. It's only in your country. It's only in the US. The process in the US of saying what's safe and what not in cosmetics is really far behind. You need to look deeper into it, and maybe I'll leave some links below. It's only in the US. It's your FDA that haven't gone into this process to figure it out. Then they haven't gone further to check that, oh, does it actually do this? Whereas in Europe, we're fine, we're good. We haven't, and that's not America versus Europe. It's the FDA. That's it. If you see not suitable for the eye area on a pressed palette and you're in the US, don't worry, just know that people in Europe are using it on the eye area and there's no warning label. It's because that process of approving it for the eye area is years and years and years behind. It's not that deep. It's really not that deep. People are really overreacting.
Ooh, okay. I love a makeup challenge. All right, so I'm going to put one swipe on, just like that. And we actually have 3 minutes. So I'm going to let it sit for 3 minutes and watch it change. This is a color changing foundation. It claims that it matches every single skin tone, right? And I've just been putting it on wrong. So this lovely young lady told me that I should let it sit. She said, girl, let it sit for a second. Okay, so we're gonna let it sit for 3 whole minutes. Is it getting any darker?
I'm just adding this in because, yes, she does leave it on for 3 minutes, but I am cutting the video just for the length of this video, but she does leave it on for 3 minutes in her original TikTok.
Okay, I'm gonna start. Dab, dab, brush, dab, dab. Oh, it looks exactly the fucking same. Wow.
So if you haven't seen these videos from Darcy on TikTok, she has this color changing foundation that is meant to suit every single skin tone. And when she tried it and it didn't work, people were so intent on saying, actually, you're using it wrong. Here's the deal, right? Here's how something like this works. Let me tell you this first. This more than likely is a product from Korea, China, or Japan, where these products do incredibly, incredibly well. There is almost like balls of pigment within this product. When pushed or brushed, they burst and release pigment. Now, within each of those individual pigment balls, there can only be one shade, and there can only be a certain amount of shades within those balls. So you're not going to get the whitest of whitest to the deeper skin tone within this product. So when you rub, they burst, you're dispersing it in. Those pigments then can't magically decide what skin tone you are, and based on like body temperature, or they can't see, they're not, it doesn't work. Why these have maybe some good reviews or positive reviews, or maybe why they're more popular in certain countries, is because a lot of people with a similar skin tone use them, or the trend is being fairer in skin tone, and they suit maybe 3 to 4 different skin shades, and that's it, skin tones, and that's it. But in countries where skin tone is more diverse, it's not going to suit everyone. It just doesn't work. It's impossible to work like that. Sorry.
Okay, I don't understand all these young kids now with all this like painting their face like they're going to be on stage. They do like all the shading and contouring. This is how 44-year-olds get ready. Pull their hair back. I wash my face and moisturize. Got my good old-fashioned powder blush. Imagine that. I make a weird smile so I can find my apples of my cheek. Yeah, look at, oh, contour. Oh my God, that really happened. Okay, cool. Now, because I'm blonde, I take my good old-fashioned, almost gone Lancome blonde eyebrow pencil and I darken in these bad boys. We don't have to use like a stencil like these girls use. No stencils needed, imagine that. I can freehand this after 40 years. No, that would mean I started at 4. 30 some years of drawing these bad boys in. Okay, let's see how it ends up. Okay, voila. Okay, now, tell you what, I am gonna do this. I'm gonna do the little voila. Here we go, curl them. This is about like 20 years old, by the way. No need to buy the new ones. They're no different, folks. No different. Okay, now we're just gonna put a little bit of like a brown in the crease. I know they're gonna tell you to do it different ways now, but guess what? It may not be the thing now, but it looks pretty good on my eyes for the last few years. Never had a complaint. Voila. Put a little whiter kind of color up at the top. And if I'm feeling spicy, I might do a little bit of liner. They're gonna tell you, don't line the bottom, it's not cool, blah, 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 blah. Why not? I just do a little bit. I go halfway across, just a little bit. Makes a little shadow there. There we go. All right, so they're lined. And now we're gonna take our mascara. And this is the last step, folks. Oh yeah, if you wanna get real spicy, you can put on some lip liner. We'll do that. Yeah, I go ahead and I put it on the bottom row. Why not? I know they may not nowadays, but guess what? I do, and it's always worked pretty well for me. So here we go. Voila. Now to get the excess mascara off, you just lick a Q-tip. Boom. Boom. And last of all, there's this random Clinique liner that I got in a free gift. And I know Clinique's not cool, but this stuff stays on all freaking day. How'd I do?
Okay, there's so many points in that, but I need to go through maybe one by one. First things first, right? What is a real mum? Real mum getting ready, as opposed to what? I don't know why she's so pissed off or why she's angry at the way people do their makeup nowadays compared to how she did it, even though she uses techniques that are from nowadays still. People still use them. It's just like, they might not do it now. I don't know why she's angry. Let me just... Oh, okay. So she starts off by saying this is how 44-year-olds get ready. You, as a 44-year-old, get ready. Here's something that happens in beauty, right? As people get older, as they age, as they mature. I say mature. I think once you're over the age of 40, people start categorizing you in this mature skin or something like that, and then suddenly everybody over that age range does the same thing. They don't dare use color or glitter, or they have mature skin. I always say a lot of people who think they have mature skin have much better skin than people in their 30s. You don't have to categorize yourself in a group of mature just because you are a certain age. You can use whatever fuck color you want, whatever texture you want, is absolutely fine. So this isn't how necessarily everybody in their 40s gets ready. Okay, so it's just like good old fashioned powder blush. Imagine that. We still fucking use powder blush. Are you mad? Cream blush has been around for years. It's not new. It's not new. And people still use powder blush. And it's just like, oh, look, contour. That's not contour. You put blush on. It's not contour. Yes, it's added structure to your cheeks because you've gone like this in a straight line. Also, she's using a filter. Can we just say that? You can see the lashes glitch and the freckles. That's a filter. How are you going to tell people that, their makeup is unnatural looking or something? Like, when you're using a filter, your version is better, but you're filtered. And then she's like, on her brows, right, she brings out a pencil. You don't have to use a stencil like these girls use. No stencil needed. Imagine that. Nobody's using a fucking stencil. We went through a phase of using stencils as like an experiment. Like, look at these crazy stencils. No one actually uses them properly unless maybe perhaps they don't have eyebrows and a stencil comes in really handy. But nobody does really use a stencil. People still use pencil and pens and actually more advanced methods than just a pencil. And she's like, I can freehand this after 40 years. So can everybody else. And then she uses an eyelash curler, the most basic eyelash curler. And is like, this is about 20 years old. No need to use one of those new ones. What's different? Eyelash curlers have been the same for a really fucking long time. The only thing that's different is maybe you can buy the half lash curlers now to get right into those inside bits. They're still the same. Where are you living? Where have you seen these things where you're like, this world's so crazy? And it's just like, we're going to take some brown through the crease and they're going to tell you to do it different ways. Who? Who is telling you can't put brown through your crease? Everyone puts brown through their crease. It's up to you how dramatic your look is. No one is telling you can't use brown in your crease. And it's just like, it may not be the thing now. It's a fucking thing. People use brown eyeshadow. What are you talking about? And then she uses her mascara and she's like, yeah, I go ahead and put on the bottom row of the bottom lashes. I know they might not nowadays. Where have you seen people not putting mascara, people saying, no, that's not a thing anymore? Literally, right, fucking, people do it all the time. Where are you getting your, why is this so angrily unhinged? Where is this like spite coming from of people doing their makeup different to you, but you're like insulting with it? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the weirdest video. It's not even like, it's just like really weird, like it's not factual. There's no fact based in what she's saying. Do you know what I mean? Like she's doing things, they might not tell you to not to do it nowadays. No one ever, everything she's doing, people do. Really strange, really fucking weird. That's actually one of the weirdest things I've seen on TikTok, and 5-minute crafts exist, so that's telling you something. Well, thank you so much for joining me. If you see anything online that you're thinking you need to see a reaction to, you can @me on all these social medias linked down below in the description box and on screen. Do consider subscribing, giving this video a thumbs up, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.